get moving!
In time for tea. Come join me. Made with the florets of a cassius tree. It's good for your health.
Your mark.
The sign of Clan Vizsla. I am Pre-Vizsla. We are the Death Watch. Descendants of the true warrior faith all Mandalorians once knew. Now my people are living in exile because we will not abandon our heritage. Our people were warriors. Strong. Feared. Now they're ruled by the new Mandalorians who think that being a pacifist is a good thing. They've given away our honor and tradition for peace. Duchess Satine and her corrupt leadership are crushing our souls, destroying our identity. That is our struggle.
If they are weak, why do you wait?
The Duchess has powerful allies, including your Jedi friend Kenobi. He is also responsible for our exile. Perhaps fortune brought us together.
It is the will of the Force. We can help you reclaim Mandalore.
And punish Kenobi for his trespasses.
We allied ourselves with Sith before. Count Dooku, he betrayed us. Sith are no better than Jedi. They claim to be powerful, but we put these two back together after the Jedi gutted them.
Doubt will only lead to failure.
Hold!
Our combined strength will be rewarded. Mandalore will be yours, and Kenobi, this Sith pretender Dooku, and all our enemies will fall.
Welcome, Masters and Padawans, to episode 564 of Full of Sith. It's me, Bryan Young, the host of the show. Holly Fry, still traveling this week, but with me I have a special guest. You might know him as the Star Wars guru across social media, but I've got Stephen Tillman here. Stephen, I've been following your page across social media for a while now. You've been an invaluable source of Star Wars on the internet, a source of positivity. So I want to welcome you to the show. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while now, so welcome.
Man, I appreciate it. Not to fanboy out here, but I followed your podcast, read some of your books, got a book in there that's a little crumbled. I'm sorry, said on it, but so yeah, I appreciate you letting me on, man, and I look forward to hopefully having more conversations like this too.
Yeah, for sure. So the first question we ask when folks come on the show for the first time usually is just like, what was your first like experience with Star Wars? That's always the thing I'm always like fascinated by.
So this is always an interesting question. People, I'm gonna be honest with you, people clown me whenever I used to tell them on the Star Wars group page, because I'm not your typical Star Wars fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was born in Oak Cliff. It's part of Dallas. I'm from Waco. Where I'm from, people didn't watch Star Wars, dude, and people like me didn't watch Star Wars. If you catch my drift, so Star Wars was never in my vocabulary, anything I even wanted to watch. To be honest with you, when I was younger, if you watched Star Wars, I probably thought in a derogatory way that you were a nerd. I don't believe that word's a derogatory term now, and I fully embrace that. But when I was growing up, I wasn't into that. I actually got tricked into watching Star Wars. I was a troublemaker growing up. I stayed in and out of trouble, man. Getting in fights. I got arrested before too. My life wasn't where it should have been going, especially how it is now. I love my life. But when I was around 16, 17-ish, I'm 35 now. So I was born in 1989. So 16, 17, that's what, 2004, 2005. I had a friend. I'm gonna be very candid here. He was a white boy, so my homeboy he was into Star Wars, you know, because that's what he liked, and he would always try to get me into Star Wars. I'm like, bro, that sounds lame. He would describe it to me. I was like, that dude, that sounds stupid. That's not even something I'm trying to get into. So one day, you might have to edit this out a little bit, but one day he invited me over to his house to smoke uh, some of the greenery, and so I was like, hell yeah, man, I'll be right over there. I'm like 17, 18 at the time, so I'm still walking, you know, from my parents' house. He stayed right down the street. I go over to his crib. We get over there. He's about to roll one up. He's like, hey, bro, we're gonna smoke, but you got to watch an episode of Star Wars first. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me right now? like I know I didn't just walk over here for nothing. And he was like, dude, just one episode. So I told him, yeah. He put in episode one, the Phantom Menace. We watched episode one. All right, bro, go ahead and put in episode two. I'm not saying I like this. Go ahead and put in episode two. Put in episode two. We get done watching episode two. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little stoned too. I'm like, hey man, like I said, I'm still like 17, 18, so I gotta call my mom real quick to ask permission to spend the night. I was like, hey man, do you mind if I spend the night so we can watch episode three? Because he told me this is part of a trilogy. And he was like, oh yeah, man, yeah. So I call my mom, ask her to spend the night. I can spend the night, so we watch episode three. I tell him, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to stay up all night. You want to watch like the rest of them? He's like, dude, yes. So we watched episode 6, 7. I mean, not six, I said 7. We watched episode 4, 5, and 6. Dude, I remember this conversation even as a 35-year-old man. The first thing I said, we stayed up all night because at the time you could watch all the Star Wars movies in one sitting because you know there's only 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
Man, I said to him, I was like, dude, why have I never watched Star Wars before? His response was, bro, I have been telling you. Dude, like literally that day, I went out to Barnes and Nobles. When this was still open in my area. I don't know if you know about that in your area, but man, I went to Barnes and Nobles. I found out that they had books. I was like, dude, I didn't read. Like I was almost about to say the N-word, but we don't read. We don't do none of that where I'm from. Hell no. Nah. Bro, I saw there was a Star Wars books. Dude, I read the first book I bought was Dark Lord, Rise of the Sith, something with some Darth Vader book. It was like a sequel to Episode 3, which I was, by the way, blown away from. And dude, that day changed my life. I got into Star Wars hardcore. At the time, it was obviously what we now call Legends, but my friend, he was like, dude, like there's this thing called the EU, the Expanded Universe. Granted, he wasn't really into it like that. He was just telling me like, hey, there's some books, comics, all this. Man, I got into that. We always joked about how he introduced me to Star Wars because he did, but I put him on Star Wars because once I got into Star Wars, I got into it and I started putting him on Star Wars. Like, hey, bro, like the one Sith, Darth Crate, all this. Like, I started putting him. He was like, bro, like I didn't know Star Wars was like. I was like, dude, I stopped hanging around the people that I was getting in trouble with. I started hanging around people who like Star Wars more, right? And and here we are, dude. So Star Wars literally changed my life, man. And I love Star Wars. So when people ask me why are you so, I guess, positive about Star Wars, is because honestly, man, I ain't got nothing negative to say about it. And to be honest with you, I didn't know people hated Star Wars until I got on Facebook. When my friend put me on Star Wars, I wasn't on Facebook or anything like that. And I thought people just love Star Wars. I didn't know there was a difference between a prequel trilogy, like the original trilogy. I mean, I knew there were separate trilogies, but I didn't know people separated them like that. To me, Star Wars is just Star Wars. And I got on Facebook, started doing my thing with social media. I realized it wasn't cool to like the prequels. I realized all this other stuff. I was like, damn, I didn't know all this was the case. So, I mean, I was lucky to go into it from my perspective, because my perspective is too, when I got into the expanded universe, the first, dude, I tell you, I got deep into it. First thing I saw after reading the books, I'd read a couple books, like I said, that Darth Vader book, and I got into like some West Endgame stuff. And I started getting into to like some old school stuff because I met some like older fans. And then like I had a teacher who, shout out to Mr. Holcomb, because I'm gonna share him a link. Mr. Holcomb was my I went to Conley High School. He was my chemistry teacher. I was a demon in this man's class, and I hate to admit this. I'm actually embarrassed to say it, but I was. I treated this man like shit. Not to cuss, but I treated this man horribly. I disrespected him every day in class. Like I said, me getting into Star Wars was like 17, 18. So I was like out of high school then at the time. And I remember that he was what I called like nerdy. So I reached out to him, like me and him bonded over Star Wars. He's a fan of the Star Wars Guru. Um, you'll notice sometimes Mr. Andy will pop in there, and I'm always like, "Hey, shout out to Mr. Andy. That's my teacher right there." And I tell him all the time, and I regret how it was, and I wish I would have been in the Star Wars then because we would have bonded over that. And so shout out to Mr. Holcomb, man. And so yeah, dude. Um, Star Wars changed my life, man. So that's to answer your question, not to get long winded, but that's how I got into Star Wars.
No, I love hearing that. Like because I think Star Wars means so many different things to so many different people, but I think the thing that makes Star Wars such a universal language is that, we can go anywhere and be able to talk Star Wars with people from all kinds of different backgrounds and cultures, and it means so much to so many people that
Definitely.
it gives like everybody from all kinds of different places and upbringings like so many different things something in common, and it gives us like a shared language. um and it really does, like it really does do that thing. Star Wars really changed my life too. Like it gave me something to uh cling to when things were not good for me as well.
Yeah.
um and like what got you into the Facebook space? Because like you have a page that's massive, and tens of thousands of people um you know look to your page every day for like updates about Star Wars and trivia, and argue with you about stuff like every day.
So it's funny you asked that. I when I got into Star Wars and I realized how it was literally taking over my life. I was working no longer to buy an Aethys from Green. I was working to, man, I gotta get the new Legacy comics now. Like they're out right now. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Obviously, like in 2006, 2007, 2008 ish, when I'm getting into Star Wars, I'm pretty late to the game in terms of how long Star Wars has been out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not naive to that. There have been people who have been Star Wars fans really since before 1977 when The Adventures of Luke Starkiller came out, right? Like the year before the movie actually came out. So there have been fans who've put blood, sweat, and tears into this way longer than me. But I when I became a fan, like I told you earlier, we didn't really do that where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like people like me don't really watch Star Wars. I ain't really got a homie that I can talk to Star Wars about. The people that I did, I was embarrassed to like talk to them like in front of people at the time, you know. So I thought I was making a private little group on Facebook, and I was making posts, but then people were liking it and coming over and joining this, and then basically I realized like, oh shit, this is actually I like public. People see this, and I just roll with it from there. Um, the page wasn't called the Star Wars Guru at first; it was called the Order of the Sith, and because
So people were
some of
just
you,
signing up to be Sith.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, because let's be real, the type of person I was, I hate to admit that like the Sith are what I cling to when I first got into Star Wars. You know, thought I was a little badass, so I like Darth Maul, Vader, Tyrannus, Sidious. I liked all of them, Grievous and all that. So I created the page called Order of the Sith. Really, it was just focused on the dark side, the villains doing bad stuff. And then I realized I was like, bro, like I'm too limited on what I can post. Because if you notice, even with the Star Wars Guru, you notice I don't go off topic. Like no matter
Yeah.
how, I mean, I could go off topic anytime. Like, and that's I'm not, and this I want to make this very clear. I'm not hating on any page that does, because some of my favorite Star Wars pages, the few that I do enjoy, they go off topic sometimes, and I enjoy them. You know, I enjoy them when they go off topic and talk about other things other than Star Wars. But for me, that ain't my thing. I don't go off topic. So it was the same thing when it was the Order of the Sith. I didn't go off topic. I kept it to dark side stuff, Sith things, but got to a point where I was running out of stuff to talk about, right? Whenever you're just only focused on one thing. And I was like, man, like I know about the Jedi, I know about the Mandalorians. You know, I've literally spent thousands upon thousands of dollars now at this point about Star Wars, and I mean, knowledge wise, I pretty much know what the dude who's been doing this since the '70s knows now. You know, because I got into it hard. So I was like, man, I'm gonna change my page. I think I even mentioned it to the folks then too, because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people were disappointed for it because they're like, man, you're one of the only places where it's safe to come talk about the dark side. We don't have that, and and here I am changing it, like, hey, like, this is gonna now be about everything, and I did it, and I think at the time I had like 3,000 people. Once I changed it to the Star Wars Guru, literally overnight, like people just started flocking to the page, just talking about Star Wars. And one thing about me, I mean, I do it now, so I mean, it's gonna sound kind of hypocritical, I guess, how I started off. But when I started off, I never posted myself, so I was just an entity behind this Facebook page. You didn't know what I looked like, what I was about, what I talked like, or anything like that. And I was just talking about Star Wars. And then until one day I decided to show what I really am. And man, did that introduce me to a whole nother side of Star Wars in the community. But that's for another conversation. But yeah, so that's how I got the page. And it just jumped from there.
Yeah, no, I don't even remember when I got onto your page. It's been years. Um, and I've really enjoyed it and our interactions over the years. Um, it's been a great positive space, and there's not always been spaces like that. It's funny you say that, like, you were sort of like embarrassed and didn't have people to talk Star Wars with, and you were doing that in like 2007, 2008. And to be honest, that kind of mirrors what a lot of us went through in like the 90s and the
Oh,
80s.
oh yeah. Oh, dude, what's so crazy? It's like it's really like George said, it's poetry, it rhymes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like
Yeah.
like no joke. Everybody does to the next set of fans what the people did to them. I hate to say it. I mean, I wasn't there, so I can only go off what people who were there tell me. But people who because I've now grown to know a variety of fans, right? I know fans who have told me that they were there in the '70s. They got picked on, like in Star Wars. You now know what they do. They pick on people for loving the sequels. Yeah, they pick on people for loving the Acolyte. They picked on people for loving the prequels. Prequel fans, man, who how I saw, when I was younger. Now I'm 35, but introducing into stars at 17, 18, and then go to Facebook and see that, oh, dude, because I'm gonna be real with you. The prequels to me, and again, I didn't know it was a this versus that type of thing. Man, I just thought it was an okay answer. Man, to me, the prequels are the best. I didn't know that was sacrilege apparently to say.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, bro, episode 1, 2, and 3 are, like, to me, the best ever Star Wars movie that ever came out. Like, none of them compare to that. But man, you say that, apparently you hate Star Wars if you say that.
Yeah. No,
Which
I
is
mean,
crazy to me.
it was a rough time for me. Like, I was 18 when Phantom Menace came out, and I just loved it. And I walked out of the theater, and people were like, "Wait, you liked that?" And I was like, "Wait, you didn't like
Yeah,
that?" Like, what?
that's how I would feel probably.
Yeah. Um, I want to ask though, like, okay, the Acolyte, and you're a Sith fan. What was that moment like when Darth Plagueis crept out of that cave for you?
Dude, first off, we could have a podcast right now about 3 hours just me talking about the Acolyte. So I am gonna try my best to just focus on the question that you just asked me. I'm just gonna focus on that. Right? I was super excited. A little bit of me, and maybe this is because, sorry for your editor who's gonna have to beep this out, but maybe because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm an in real life, like I am. Like I told you, I was kind of bad growing up. Has that settled down and changed? Yes, it has. I'm not saying that I'm still, like that hardcore, but I still am. I mean, you probably see that when I'm talking to people online. How you come at me, I'm gonna come at you too. We can go tit for that. I'm petty too. So I
Yeah, but
will
you're
say
you're
this.
petty to the right people.
You know what? I'll take that because you're right. You're right. You are right. It is. I'm not ashamed to admit it is a certain people that I'm like that too. And the thing is, I know people on this page who don't like the prequels, who don't like the Acolyte, and me and them can talk about Star Wars all fine and dandy. And you know what? They don't like it for legitimate reasons. Like there are people legit like that who I have friends who don't like Star Wars, and it's not because they think Star Wars is for nerds and anything. They just like, yeah. I mean, I don't mess with it like that. Like I'm glad that you like it like that, Steven, but it ain't for me. And with the Acolyte. I love the Plagueis thing. Like I said, I want to answer. I want to answer your question because you see how easily I can get distracted with the Acolyte. I was super excited to see Plagueis. I tried my hardest to stay away from like leaks and stuff like that. If you notice, there's one thing about the page too. For anybody who hasn't been in the page, I never post leaks or rumors. Like I don't. Like, I'm not into that.
That's
And again, I'm not hating if you are, but I'm that's not my thing. You know,
that's part of
I'll
the
be
reason I've been able to stay with your page where I've had to like mute or block a lot of other pages because I just want to go in surprised. Like I used to be like for Phantom Menace, I used to be a total spoiler hound and
yeah.
it I didn't like it. I mean, like I loved Phantom Menace, and I think part of it was because I knew what was coming for the most part, but like I just don't care. I just want to see what comes up. Like I'll watch a trailer once, and you don't do that, and so it makes your page that much more enjoyable for me.
And I appreciate that. And the reason why I appreciate that is because I'm not gonna lie, because I do that, it does have its negative effects, meaning that I'm not gonna lie, you get news on my page, you're probably gonna get it later than somebody else's. Like I'm gonna be honest, if you want news, you should probably go somewhere else because they're probably gonna mention it before it's been officially announced. I'm only gonna ever post news if Lucasfilm or Disney has officially said it, which might be weeks after you probably already know it. And you know what? I probably already know it too. Cause yeah, I done probably ran across the same rumor too, but for that's just me. I'm not gonna post like the rumor or the leak that I even know. Yeah, I know it's gonna happen, but I want people to know that when they come to my page, it also helps because when you come to my page and you see the news on my page, you know, oh, that's legit. I ain't got to worry if that's fake or not because he's only going to post it if Lucasfilm actually said this. You know, so
Yeah,
it does have its drawbacks. Like I said, I'll be late to the party whenever it comes to deliver something. Like I'll get the fans say that hey, I knew about this like a week ago. Good for you. I'm proud of
yeah.
you. But but yeah, I do appreciate that, and I want to also turn this around and give you a Uno reverse card and turn this on you. Um, I see a lot of the stuff that you post, and that you talk about as well too, and um, some people don't do that because they don't want to deal with the consequences that comes with that. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean by that. You say something's good nowadays, man, you're gonna get all sorts of people hating you. I know for a fact, and like not to cause any beef or nothing like that, so I ain't gonna put them out there. But if you are watching this to this particular page, this person who watches this page, I will never forget this. This is literally what somebody did to me. This was like years ago though. Like I was still in my 20s. They run some big page and they agreed to like meet up with me, like just to meet me. Right, they were running through my town and they're like, hey, let's meet up, talk Star Wars. And this dude is like an older type fan. To give you an idea, is that type of fan. Man, we meet. Tell me why secretly, like literally, this dude tell me like he knows he ain't lying. Like if you listen, you know I'm not lying when I tell you this. Tell this story. He literally told me he's like, "Hey man, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like the prequels are the best." And I was like, "Bro, why don't you ever say that?" He was like, "Man, I would never say it online. That's why I'll always only say that Episode 5 is the best." I was like, "You really think this?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "But you'll never hear me say it publicly." I was like, dang, is this? And I was like, is this really what a bunch of people out there are really like? They're just only saying this to appease or get more clicks or likes. That's why I try to tell people all the time, bro. It's okay to think episode 1 is the best, episode 2 is the best. Any of these, hell, you can think episode 7, 8, and 9 because I think they're good too. You can think those are the best. You can think the sequel trilogy is better than the
Yeah.
original if you want. And I think people are embarrassed to say that. And
I
I think there are people out there who listen to right now who don't want to say it and they know it.
I have a struggle with like I mean my legitimate answer when people go like what's your favorite Star Wars movie? It really is whichever one I'm watching, right?
Yeah,
But like forced to pick, it really is Return of the Jedi and that's the one I have the most connection to. I don't think that's the best one. I think the best one is probably A New Hope and that's because I don't think we'd get any of the others with that. But if I had to pick a second best, I think now it's The Last Jedi. And I get people mad at me a lot for saying that. And my life would be a lot easier if I just said The Empire Strikes Back was the best one.
oh yeah, yeah, for real.
And but I don't ever want to pander to people and I don't ever want to just like I mean I think my reason for wanting to start a podcast was very much the same way you wanted to start your page, right? You just wanted to start talking Star Wars with people you wanted to talk with. And I didn't have that around me. And I just want to talk enthusiastically about Star Wars with people who like Star Wars. And I think some people think that there are definitely people who think I'm a shill. I'm not.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah.
And there's people who think that like I'm putting on a performance. But all I ever want to do is share my enthusiasm and my passion with other people. And all I ever want to do is help people see the things in Star Wars that I see, in the hopes that they can appreciate the things that I appreciate in it, or that they can get the help from Star Wars that I get when
Yeah.
I see it, right? That maybe their lives can be that much better for enjoying it or learning that lesson or whatever that I do out of it. Maybe they can too. And that's all I've ever wanted out of it, right? Like, yeah, I get paid to write about Star Wars here or there, but like never monetize the podcast because that's not what it's for. Like it's just for me and Holly and anybody we have on to just talk Star Wars and I don't care what the consequences are of people coming at me. Like, I'll say whatever I want on the internet. And when people are like, well, you're a shill because you never talk about what you don't like. And it's because, like, that's just not as fun.
And it's funny you say that because I make it clear to people. I mean, people know this. Like, there are there's a plethora of things that I don't like about Star Wars. But like you said, like if I don't like it, I don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't sit my whole day talking about stuff I don't like. Like I literally just talk about the stuff I like. So if I don't like it, I'm not gonna talk about it.
Life's too
I
short
think
for that.
yeah, yeah. Like one day this dude got mad at me and like at that point I would have legit did it too. Cause he was like, bro, why don't you talk like bad about Star Wars? Like and I told him I was like, bro, like this page is just I'm just sharing my love for Star Wars. Like if you want a page where like we can talk shit about Star Wars, like I'll make that. You know what I'm saying? And then like we know that hey, this is the page where we go here to talk about bad about Star Wars. And you know what happens? If you start talking good things about Star Wars, I'm gonna be like, hey, remember this page is just for the negative stuff. We don't do that good stuff here. It's almost like people just want to like be drowned in like why they don't like. So I'm gonna be honest with you, and like I told you before, I love your work, and I genuinely do. So this is by no disrespect to anybody who does what I'm about to say you do, and a lot of other people do. One thing you've never seen the Star Wars Guru do ever is post a review. I don't do reviews. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like to be honest with you, if it wasn't for like the few people that I actually enjoy like their opinion, like you and like one or two others, I wouldn't give a dang about reviews. Like I'm not gonna lie. I don't care if you like or dislike something that I like. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like genuinely, like outside of like I said, you and a couple other people, I could care less if you liked it like I did. I could care less if you didn't like it. Like your review means nothing to me. So I don't do reviews because I've never been the one to think. I guess it's my negative idea on what I see how reviews have turned into. You don't do this by any means, but let's be honest. People try to weaponize reviews. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like that's to me that's
Well,
dude, this isn't a review to me anymore. This is you just tearing something down.
I think the trouble with reviews is because reviews used to be a thing where someone who was super knowledgeable about history of cinema, the mythology of the world that they were talking about, real world events, the context of art, wrote down from that really knowledgeable place additional context so that after you watch the movie, you could go read their review and go, here's added material. Here's meaning that maybe you
Yeah.
missed from the movie. Here's something that might add meaning to the movie. Here's something that might help you understand it better. Um, Here's what I got out of it, and here's what might help you understand it better. And that's what I try to do with reviews. And that's what I think good reviewers do. But the problem is like there's way too many people who think movie reviews are it was good or it was bad. And that's not
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
reviews are for.
Yeah.
And I hate those too. Like I don't care. Like I don't care if you thought a movie was good or bad, because there are plenty of reviews I've read. Like I hate that Roger Ebert is dead, but Roger Ebert would write reviews for movies that he absolutely hated, but he still understood all of those things and would
Yep.
add context so that even if I liked the movie, he would show me meanings in it that maybe I didn't understand or get, and help me like it more, even if he hated it.
Yeah.
And I just think a lot of these folks, and I think a lot of them are on YouTube, understand that like that certain algorithm, that certain headline that says like, oh, this movie sucks in all caps or whatever,
Yeah.
gets the hits, and that's that. And the more they put words like woke and DEI and whatever else into it, it gets even more people looking at it.
And I'm glad you said that too, because I didn't want to bring that up, but I'm gonna be real. As a black dude, I get so confused by and I'm sorry, I don't want to like offend people or nothing like that, but bro, like as a black person, the word woke does not mean what y'all be saying. Like I don't want to say y'all, because I don't put you in that same category, even though you are a white dude. I'm not trying to put you in their same category, if you know what I mean. But like the people that use woke, how they be using it, because to be honest with you, from what I can tell, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody on the internet who listens to this and they want to come and correct me in my DMs or whatever, please feel free. But like what I can gather now on the internet, woke now means that there are women in it, people of color, or somebody who is not heterosexual.
That
That's
is
what
how.
I've come to understand. So when people tell me something's woke, I know now. It's like, okay, so somebody starring in this ain't white and he ain't a dude. That's all that tells me now. But back when I was growing up, everybody wanted to be woke, and I'm talking about like black folks. I grew up around black folks with black folks, and like woke meant to me was like, hey man, watch out for Jamal. That dude woke. Like, cause like you got to stay woke, and he's always telling you, he's like, my brother, stay woke. Watch out for the man. They gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it
Yeah.
meant to us, is to keep your mind open and ready for this debauchery that folks doing around us. That's what woke meant to me. And then all of a sudden, one day on the internet, I don't know how I got hijacked, but now it comes to mean that, hey, yeah, the Acolyte was woke because Amandla was starring in it, and it's now, like I said, it's now a sign to me that obviously it's not somebody that look like you, Brian, is starring in it. It may be
Yep.
somebody like me. Like one day, this one dude straight up told me that my page is woke, and I asked him, because I told him, I was like, straight up, bro, like, and maybe I should make it clear what side I'm on. You know what I'm saying? But like legit, I've never made it clear on my page like what political side of the spectrum I'm on. And it's not that I'm ashamed of it or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But I just, like I told you before, I'll always stay on top. I've always ever talked about Star Wars. Like that's it. Like for all this dude knows, I'm a Trump thumper. But like the dude was like, "You're woke." I can just tell looking at you. So that let me know right then and there that he just looked at me, and I'm black, and he was like, "Oh, I'm woke." And just for the record, for anybody needing to know, I ain't no Trump thumper. I just want to point that out before y'all start saying like that. But for all that, but you get what I'm saying. But for all he knew,
Yeah.
I was. For all he knew, I was. But like he looked at me and was like, "You're woke." And so that lets me know right then and there. It's like, well, damn, I guess I am then. I
Yeah.
was born woke, apparently.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
think that's what that has come to mean. That's how they use it. I don't know why. I mean, I think I know why, because they it's all stupid. So
no, trust me.
yeah.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah. No, it's just so
That,
exhausting. Um and I'm sure it's twice as exhausting for you at least. Um
I, that's I think that's why you just got to focus on Star Wars, because I
yeah.
could go tit for tat with these folks if I wanted to. Like I could, but like it's like, bro, like first off, what's the point? We could be talking about stuff like little. What they don't know is that like I probably me and them both, even as much as they probably don't like me, we could literally both talk about something that we love about Star Wars together. Because they probably just
Yeah.
want to talk about the original trilogy. Damn, I love the original trilogy just as much as I love the other stuff. We can talk about that all day. Let's talk about that with me. You won't even do that. All you want to do is talk about what you hate. And it's like, man, when I bring up the stuff that you do want to talk about, you don't even want to talk about that no more.
Yeah. What
Wow, man.
of the stuff that's come out since you've been a Star Wars fan, right? So
Mhm.
you said you got in Clone Wars had started already when you were introduced, right?
Yeah, so I want to say, like I said, my memory's foggy. Then I've done a lot of things since then, but I want to say season 1 or 2 was already out. So I did come late to the game with the Clone Wars, but and shout out Jesse, Officer Scanlon. That's my boy right there. He's actually one of my best friends locally. Um, he put me on the Clone Wars. He was a security guard at my job, not my current job, but I was a manager at a job, and he was a security job officer. I was walking by and I heard what was kind of like the Star Wars theme, but it was different. And obviously, I'm talking about the Clone Wars theme, right?
Yeah.
And I was walking by, going outside. I was like, bro, what are you watching? He was like, bro, the Clone Wars. And I was like, the Clone Wars? He was like, yeah, like Anakin has an apprentice. I was like, Anakin has an apprentice? And he's like, bro, he's like, you like Star Wars? Because Jesse's black, right? So, like, I'm sorry for your editor, but I'm gonna say this one time. Man, seeing another nigga like Star Wars and like out of nowhere, like we've been working at this place for how long together, and I was like, you like Star like and to like it like me, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, bro, he's like, dude, you need to get on the Clone Wars. Dude, I got on the Clone Wars. I came back, I was like, all right, I appreciate you getting me on the Clone Wars. I was like, do you know about the Legacy comics? And he was like, yeah, dude, I love them. He's like, I love Darth Crate. I was like, bro, so what do you think about Darth Crate coming back? He was like, Darth Crate came back, and then so like I put him on because he didn't follow the arc when Darth Crate like got resurrected, and dude, it was amazing. Like finding somebody like me, and bro, like so he put me on the Clone Wars. So yeah, the Clone Wars had already been out, and he put me on that. I got into that. So my bad. Yeah. So I don't even know what your question was about to be.
No,
So
just when like when you started getting into new Star Wars stuff as it was coming out. Like so it sounds like you got into Clone Wars as week to week after the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Um and then um and then Rebels and then the new movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Um as a Darth Maul fan, then I imagine finally seeing Order 66 and Ahsoka probably hit you pretty hard.
That was amazing. I like to joke with my friends that I was a teenager when I first got on the Star Wars because I was about 19, yeah, still, and I was like, and it ended when I was a 30-year-old man. Coming back out, finishing in 2020, I was 30, 31. Like, bro, the Clone Wars, and I tell people all the time when they ask me what's my favorite television show, it's the Clone Wars. Truthfully, because I don't really watch too much TV. Like I said, like where I'm from, we didn't watch a lot of movies like this, especially TV shows. You watch whatever was on basic cable. Any of the movies that I watch, I'm not gonna lie to you, and not trying to be funny with black movies like Juice, Boys in the Hood, this type of shit that I grew up watching. Never anything like space operas, anything like this, dude. Like Star Wars was literally my introduction to anything like this. Like the movies that I watched were gangster movies, the Five Heartbeats, the Temptations, like those like Motown singing movies. This is black stuff. Like, man, I didn't know nothing about this world, like how all this, man. Like episode 1, I saw like these aliens, like different worlds, bro. Like that opened my mind to like man, there's so much like out there, and I found out with Star Wars. Yeah, it's wild, dude.
What's that? I mean, as a fan and as a black man, like starting with episode 1 and then moving through it, um how do you feel like it's been seeing yourself at least slightly better represented over the years? But I mean, you started with um episode 1, which is a better starting point for you with representation than say A New Hope. But I mean, like, how do you feel like they've been doing over the years for you?
I will say this. Um, I did obviously, like you said, I saw episode 1 first, so I already see. To me, as a black dude, I just told you how I watch a bunch of black movies. Let's be real.
Yeah.
one of the most famous black actors, especially for a black person, Samuel L. Jackson. So
Yeah.
off top with it, I'm like, man, Samuel L. Jackson is in this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, like I was already sold with that. Like literally, Samuel L. Jackson is like kind of what sold me on episode one. Because like I'm not saying I resonate with him the most, like because I didn't, even though he was black, because obviously Darth Maul, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like seeing that Samuel L. Jackson was in this, I'm already sold. Like when people say why does representation matter? Maybe for some people it doesn't, but you know what? Like I'm not saying it's super important, but damn it, if 17, 18-year-old me wasn't so damn excited to see Samuel L. Jackson playing in this at least what I thought at the time before I got into it was a silly, stupid little sci-fi flick. Like Samuel L. Jackson's like going that low to like being something like this. I gotta watch it. You know? It's like man, and I loved it. And to answer your question, how do I think they've been doing? From what I can tell, and is anybody perfect? And this isn't. I want to make this clear too. This isn't just with black people, because I think we now live in a time where it's no longer just black people that need representation. You know what I'm saying? Like now, do black people probably still need it? As a black man, like this is just me saying it, so I don't mean to offend. Yeah, we still need maybe a little bit more. I'm not saying we need to be number one now. I think now there are other groups that are being more disenfranchised than even black people now. That might be controversial, me saying that, but I think there are groups now that we can try to focus on now as well. So I don't necessarily think that representation now always has to be black people now. But so in that vein, I do think they're doing a lot better. Man, you see now like Asian people, like women, whether they're white, black, or anything like that. You see people who aren't straight, So I do think they're trying, and to be honest with you, I don't get, and I've never gotten this, and then people might hate me for when I say this. I don't get why it's such a big deal. What I mean by that is there's a certain subset of people. All right. I just want to be very clear, so that way when y'all argue with me in my DMs about how I'm saying everybody, I'm lumping them all into one. I want to make it very clear. I'm talking about a very small subset, a subsection of fans, who they claim up and down that color, sexual orientation shouldn't matter. Like it should just be the story that's important. So I am going to take this stand right now on this podcast that I'm agreeing with you. Those people who say that. So if it's so unimportant that it shouldn't matter, then when they're black, transgender, gay, then it shouldn't matter because it's so unimportant that it's all the story then, right? So watch those people who say that like it shouldn't matter, but then once it happens, that's the only thing that matters for some reason. Like I feel all of a sudden that's all they care about now. It's like I mean, you know the term, moving the goalposts back.
Yeah.
It's like, man, all right, cool. I agree with you now. So now let's agree with this. Now no longer becomes that. It's like, well, then why'd they have to make her black then? It's like, well, you just said it don't matter, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I think this is the problem too. Since I can't really speak on it, but I do now know black people that obviously grew up watching Star Wars, grew up watching other things, you know what I'm saying, other than just what I did. My story as a black dude is very different from somebody else's story, right? I grew up because, my dad, we watched on the VCR black movies. So I saw representation all the time when I watched my movies, right? Because I'm watching black movies, right? But I do have friends now who are my age that talk about, hey, man, I love Star Wars when I was younger, but my hero was Han Solo, Luke, you know what I'm saying? And these people never complained. Black dude, his hero was his Luke. Never was an issue, right? Now you get these people that are like, why you got to make it a woman? Like my son can't look up to her as a woman. I'm like, why can't they? Because they don't look like
kidding.
her. Like, bro, black kids who've been growing up on Star Wars had to look up to like white people all the time and never complain. Shit, I never hear one black person say, man, I didn't want to look up to Luke. You know what I'm saying? We still did. I mean, I'm not we, obviously, because I wasn't around, but they still did. It's not a problem. So I honestly don't understand why some like 40-year-old white dude can't watch an episode of The Acolyte and not like look up to 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 Amanda Stenberg's character. 'Cause I'll be honest with you, I'm not a woman. I'm not white, but you know who I looked up to for her values? Man, Padme was strong and she was a rock. And damn, like I looked up to her. I ain't gotta be a girl, you know what I'm saying, to look up to her. Like damn, I want to be like Padme. Like, what's wrong with that?
I wonder if it's like, I don't know if it's like an empathy thing or what, but like, or if it's a reading thing, or just, I don't know if there's something just different about their brains, but I don't feel like I ever had that problem. And it was one of those, like, you know, how we talked about how like you showed up on the internet and you're like, wait, people didn't like this movie. I felt
Yeah.
that same way when people were starting to say like, well, I can't identify with this character because they don't look exactly like me. And I was one of those kids where like I didn't want to like talk to anybody. I didn't want to like um I wanted to exist in my Star Wars movies or like in books because um I I was either bullied at school or abused at home. So like I was just like, I'm going to make myself as small as possible and just like make sure no one sees me. And I was doing that in books. So I was just devouring books all the time. And there were plenty of books I read where women were the main characters, or black people were the main characters, or Asian people were the main characters, or whatever. And I was just as riveted by all of those stories as I was where the white kids that were my
Yeah.
age were the main characters. And I never had a problem inserting myself in those. And so when I was watching movies, I never had a problem inserting myself in those situations either, right? Like I wanted to be Short Round when I was a kid, right? Like I want, like I wanted to be I like it didn't matter like if I was watching the narrative, I was invested in the main characters. So when people were like, "Well, I can't invest in this because it's not like what about all the little boys who need to invest in white characters now and we don't have them because we've got all this representation for all these others?" And it's like we've had 99% of human history representing us. Like why do we need this? Like we have it all. Like why can't we like what you can't identify with them? Like how? Why? Like that's a thing? Like that's your I don't understand how that works. Like, how can you not? Go watch all the other stuff that you've got. Like, I
and
can.
the quickest way to call out their hypocrisy is that they say they can't identify with some brown person or some lady, but then they'll tell you their favorite character is some Trandoshan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Who's some lizard dude. So it's like,
yeah.
well, damn, so you can like
Like,
you relate to this, but like an actual like blood human, like that's where you draw the line because like the dude's a brown human, but like you like this slug creature here, and that's who you identify, and like you feel for him though, like that's usually when I call out the hypocrisy. I'm like you literally have a profile picture of Chewbacca, and I love Chewbacca, so I'm not hating on him, but it's like you feel for Chewbacca, how like he was a Wookiee slave, you know what I'm saying? But like, damn, you can't feel for nobody. Okay, all right, I guess.
but not Black Chrysanthemum. That's a bridge too
Yeah,
far.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's where we
Like,
draw the line.
Chewbacca's okay, but Black Chrysanthemum's not.
And that's one thing too that I don't understand is that there's this need to for 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 I guess for a character to look exactly like us, which I do get. Like I guess it is double edged because I do think it is important for some people. Like for and I don't mean this disrespect. I mean I'm straight. So for like the gay person or the trans person that needs to see themselves, like to me that's important. If they need to see that, then yeah. But like me personally, I don't need a character to look like me anymore. There was a point where I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. And there was a point where like, I got excited whenever I saw somebody with like the same hair as me. And it's not to say that I don't think those are important. They are. But like I'm what I mean is that they were important with me getting started. You know what I'm saying, or
Mhm.
or getting on this journey. But now that I'm on the journey, now I want other people to get it too. And I think that's the problem. I think some people get on this journey and they want to hog it all up. When now it's like, man, like I got the representation that was needed to like get me invested in it, but now somebody else needs it, and like I think we should pass it on. That's the problem I think that a lot of people have.
Mhm.
That they want Star Wars to be theirs, which I guess as humans I understand it. We're very possessive as humans. Like you get a girlfriend, not saying you or anything, but you see how some men are, they're possessive. You're mine now. You get Star Wars, they're your mine now. And not just to just say men. I mean, there are women out there just like that too. We get possessive over this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things that we feel is ours, and that nobody else can love it like I do. Like there's no way that this dude who just got into Star Wars can understand or love Star Wars like me. Like I see a lot of new age fans getting that treatment. The sequel trilogy, where it's like, you can't possibly love Star Wars. I've been here since 1977.
Yeah, that's really, I have a hard time with that, because I mean, I'm I wasn't even born in 1977, right? Like, I was born in 1980, right? So like, I'm literally as old a Star Wars fan as I can be, because like my earliest memory is Return of the Jedi in the theater when I was like 2, right? And I'm as old school as I can possibly be as a Star Wars fan. And I was young enough that the prequels just hit me just right. And I remember just the early 2000s just being shamed for it as much as possible. In the early internet days, it was just miserable. And then seeing prequel fans who went through that, doing that to sequel kids, has just been not pleasant for me. And I don't get it. And seeing the prequel kids or the sequel kids come in and go like, what do I look at next? And then trying to like welcome them into Star Wars, and them going like, this is awful. Some of these people are just awful, and going like, yeah, sorry, they really are. I don't know what to do about that, right? Like, there was a time in my life where I thought, there was a time in my life genuinely where if I saw someone with a Star Wars shirt on, like at a party or something, I was like, I know I can be safe with that person. Like, I can go talk to them and everything will be okay. And now, like, I'm a little bit scared of that, because like, what if they're one of those? What if they're one of those? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
And that's actually the perfect way to say that too, because like I told you, like, no joke, before Facebook and all that, I thought, like, if me and you were talking about Star Wars, and we just call it Star Wars, like, to me, you were talking about episode 1 through 6. You weren't talking about just like a certain trilogy. And like, I did not know that, like man, I did not know you didn't like the prequels. I didn't know that. I didn't know you weren't supposed to like Jar Jar Binks. That's one thing too, man. Now that I just said him, Brian, not to fanboy out on you, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like doing that. There's one thing with me, like, I don't care if somebody like is like starring in Star Wars. I try not to fanboy out. Like, if I saw George Lucas' stuff, I probably would just be like, "What's up, dude?" and keep on walking. You know what I'm saying? You people to me. You know what I'm saying? But like, so I don't want to fanboy out on you. But like, you wrote an article. I don't remember it word for it because it's been years now. But you wrote an article about Jar Jar Binks. Um, you're probably like, "Damn, what does that mean?" Well, Jar Jar Binks is very important to me. All right, like, Jar Jar Binks, to me, first of all, I didn't know that people hated this dude. Like to me, Jar Jar Binks is this silly, obnoxious friend that we all have, that you love him to death. But you know what? He's one of the most purest friends that you ever have. And the reason I say that too is there's an episode too in the Clone Wars where he teams up with Mace Windu. It's like, I mean, you know it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta explain it to you. But like,
The Disappeared
there's
Part 1 and Part 2 in the Lost episodes, which was season 5, 6, season 6.
Yeah. One of the, I think, like the Netflix ones, when they came out. Man, there is a scene where he's hiding behind some pillar while somebody's just shooting a machine gun type shit, type stuff, right? Like, just blasting away. And like, I forgot what he's saying word for word, so I might even mispronounce, but he's like, "I gotta be brave. I gotta be brave." And bro, this dude just literally just runs out like while they're just like gunshots. I don't know, I don't know if you've ever been around where gunshots are, or anything like that, but like, man, that, like, to do that and be like, bro, like, damn, like, I could literally be killed, but like, I just gotta go out here and do it. And like, everybody around me thinks I'm like a goofy silly jackass, but like they don't know that I'm really like over here die for my friends. Like, bro, like Jar Jar represents to me do we not all want a friend like Jar Jar? Like, because please tell me I do.
Yeah.
And you wrote some article, dude. I I literally talk to people about this article whenever I'm like arguing with them about Jar Jar because like that's one thing that I will argue with you about is some Jar Jar Binks. I got time for that.
Yeah.
I got time for some Jar Jar Binks stuff anytime. Because like, dude, I love Jar Jar, and I just hate that George got flack, and not even just George, but like let's talk like Ahmad Best got all the flack because reading into like what happened to that dude, like damn, first off, I would be excited to get to play like Jar Jar Binks. Like dude, like if George came to me telling me I get to play somebody like that, like and start man, like I would die joy.
Yeah.
And to think that like this almost killed this man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like for playing something like that's crazy. I didn't know we was like I'm sorry for your editor. I'm so sorry. I didn't know we was mad at that for like that. You can play the dream role that you do, and like people hate you for this. Same thing with Jake Lloyd. Shout out Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd is cool as hell. Jake Lloyd was like my friend on Facebook before. And then like he disappeared, and I found out it was because of some stuff. I don't want to throw his business out there. So I'm not even gonna speak on any of that. But like that dude was cool as hell. And then come to find out, like that dude was bullied out. I didn't know about that until like I learned about it, and like dang, I didn't know that like playing these roles that I thought were first off they just like fake like movie roles. This ain't even real life, Like I
Yeah.
didn't know that this for some people comes with like a life sentence that like the general public is gonna like attempt to publicly execute you if they can.
Yeah. No, it's awful. But Jar Jar's one of those characters that means a lot to me because um I didn't understand Jar Jar as a character at first, and the more I delved into him, the more I saw myself in him, right? Like
Yeah, I'll see a
Jar
lot of
Jar
myself in Jar Jar. Yeah.
Jar Jar is that character, Jar Jar is that person who was like bullied and misunderstood, but like if you just got to know him, you'll never find a more loyal, pure-hearted friend who's gonna like go out of his way to give you everything he possibly can. Right?
And
He
if that ain't what you want in somebody, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And like I think a lot of people give him flack for handing Palpatine the keys to the to the army, the Grand Army of the Republic, but he was lied to and manipulated because of that loyalty, because Padme trusted Palpatine. Everybody trusted Palpatine, right? Like, I mean, that's what Sith Lords do. And Jar Jar was manipulated into thinking that this is what his friends wanted and needed, and this is what was going to be good for the galaxy. And he thought he was doing the right thing. And even the most pure and loyal people will do the wrong thing if they're tricked into doing the right thing. And honestly, I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to, and this is going to get mildly political for a second here for people, so I'm sorry. But like, this was really how I got through the first Trump administration, and being able to hold any measure of respect for some people who voted for Trump the first time is that I thought of some of these people as Jar Jar, that they were pure and loyal hearted people who got manipulated and tricked by Palpatines. And it's at the moment a little harder for me to think that they got tricked and manipulated after the first time. So I'm still trying to hold some grace, but um Jar Jar is um, really important to me because I definitely see a lot of myself in him. That clumsiness and but that grace and that loyalty and that purity that I want to have.
And what you just said is so accurate. And what I tell people too, because I like to I don't know if it's just me being petty, but I like to call out people's hypocrisy when they're telling me this is why I don't like such and such. You make a good point, right? A lot of people want to blame Jar Jar for giving Palpatine the emergency powers. He fell for it. Wow, like Palpatine like manipulated him. if that's your reasoning to hate Jar Jar, then you gotta hate Anakin. You gotta hate Padme. You gotta hate the whole Jedi. Like,
Yeah.
did he manipulate all of them too? Like, didn't they all like feed in and give him the same power too? It's like why is it this Jar Jar that you all of a sudden hate? Like, we all
Yeah.
love Anakin or hate him, whichever part you want to. But like, we all love him. Like, he was the biggest. He was the biggest one that got manipulated by Chancellor Palpatine. But we all love him. Why
Like,
can't Jar Jar just do one thing, one
or
f up?
or what
Yeah,
about Yoda? Like Yoda
yeah,
went and confronted Palpatine and lost, and then
straight
went
up
and hit
ran.
on Dagobah for 20 years.
Yeah, straight up ran. But we mad at Jar Jar for giving emergency powers. Not only that, but like now that I think about it, and this is like my first time actually really thinking about it, now that you're saying it, we can't even really blame Jar Jar. Jar Jar just called for it. Like, literally everybody else was like, yeah, like didn't they all have to like vote for him? Like, Jar
Yeah.
Jar can't be the only one to just say like, hey, like, we're giving him emergency powers, so now it's his. Like,
Yeah.
all y'all had to vote for him too.
Yeah.
So
Jar Jar called for a galaxy-wide vote that gave it
yeah,
to Palpatine. And it
like,
wasn't like, yeah, it
unless
wasn't,
we saying Jar Jar is all powerful and he's the one who gave the powers directly, like, you can't blame it on him.
yeah. And oh man, Palpatine was just really good at what he did. And this is why Palpatine being so good at what he did is part of why I'm so furious that we're not getting more Acolyte, because I really want to see that bridge between Plagueis to Palpatine with the Stranger and Osha, and what happens between all of that, and the search for to create life and the midi-chlorians, and the mystery of why Osha and May's midi-chlorians were identical. I don't know. There's a lot of questions I want answered, and I'm afraid we're not going to get them because of really loud people on the internet.
For the life of me, like if you are, I'm not trying to generalize because I'm not saying that there aren't faults that Acolyte has. Nothing in Star Wars is perfect. But to me, the greatest movie ever made is Revenge of the Sith. But even I know that this movie isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying? So there are going to be people who genuinely do not like Revenge of the Sith, and they have valid reasons for it. All right. So those people out there, I'm not talking about y'all. So before y'all come to my DMs and say I'm lumping all y'all,
How often do you
just
get
want to
people
say,
coming to your DMs? Because you say that a
oh
lot.
man, oh yeah, dude. Like, if I post some stuff, like if I post some sequel stuff, some Acolyte stuff, like I know that I'm gonna get either some comments or some messages about like you kind of say like how I'm a shill, how I'm woke, how I'm just part of the liberal, propaganda. I'm a communist. Some of the things that I don't see how they correlate. You know what I'm saying, at all, but whatever. So I try to tell people. I was like, I'm just talking about a specific group, and I mean, maybe you're part of the group. Maybe that's why you're mad at me. So that's why I like to just preface all that with like, let me talk about this a specific group, But but I don't get why you did not like the Acolyte, dude. Like the Acolyte. First off, goes hard. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So we're not. I'm not even talking about story wise. Just the action. If you're just one of those that just like bang bang bang, like, dude, just off that, this goes hard. All right.
Yeah.
Then you throw in like the actual story, what's going on. Then if you want to get meta with it, like with me, I appreciate, and this is just me. I can't speak for no one else. All right. I can't speak for you, Brian. I can't speak for Joe Blow, whoever. But man, one of the things that I appreciate a lot in a Star Wars story is when the creator or the people in charge are invested like in the Star Wars. And I don't know this lady's name, so I'm not even gonna probably. What's her name? Lisa
Leslie Headland.
Leslie Headland. I don't know this woman. You know what I'm saying? But apparently, if you post her name, you're gonna get like 1,000 comments about some white dude that did some like horrific things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, I don't keep up with Hollywood stuff. Like I said, like Star Wars is probably like the most Hollywood stuff that I keep up with. Like legit. Like
Yeah.
I don't like there are things that people talk about that like I understand it. You know what I'm saying? That it's
So
big because I understand Star Wars, but I'm not into that shit.
if you want the short version of it, Leslie Headland at one point was Harvey Weinstein's assistant very briefly. Harvey Weinstein went to jail for sexual assault. Apparently, because she was briefly his assistant once, she should have stopped all of it. Um, Basically, it's sort of a straw man argument that they've created to say like, well, you're all hypocrites. If you like Leslie Headland, then you must like the fact that she allowed all of this as though she was personally responsible for stopping all of it.
Wow. Well, that's insane for and I'm not trying to talk crap about any of your listeners or anything like that. But if you
I don't
think
think
this,
I don't think anybody who believes that is still
oh,
listening to this show.
okay. Well, for anybody who thinks that, I'm not trying to be funny. You're an idiot. I'm being real with you. If you what you just described to me, if this is what people are thinking, like legit, you're an idiot. All right. But from what I can tell though, back to what I was like, one thing I love is when the creators are like passionate about this, and from all accounts, man, I try to do my own research on these people. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to know how they were in the Star Wars. First off, you ain't got to be a Star Wars fan for me anyway. Like I hate to say it, but I kind of there's sometimes where I prefer you not even to be in the Star Wars because I don't want you to come with that bias stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I've read that Lisa, or however you say her name, I'm sorry, was a an avid expanded universe fan, and I was too, and I saw so many call outs to the expanded universe. Also read an interview where she was talking about Darth Treya. I was like what? This lady know about Darth Treya? How do you not like this woman? She's man, if y'all was talking about checklists and hitting check boxes, hell, she was doing it for me. You know what I'm saying? With Darth Treya, Knights of the Old Republic, Bane, talking about Bane. Not necessarily things that were in the show, but just things that she talked about how she liked and that inspired her when she was making this. And I can definitely see all this. So it's like the fans that like the stuff that I'm excited about, I thought were going to be the ones who like this show the most, but apparently they're the ones who hate it the most. And I'm really confused because I love the expanded universe. Before Star Wars is what it was now, my page literally that's all I talked about was the expanding universe. That's all there was. There was a point in my life before Disney, all that I thought that like episode 3 was the last Star Wars we were ever gonna get. Like that was it.
Yeah.
I was gonna die having seen all 6 Star Wars movies. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing that we had was the expanding universe. That was it, bro. Like Jason Solo, Darth Caedus or Caedus, I don't know how you say it because I've never talked to anybody who said it. But like that was my favorite character. That was my favorite fucking. I'm sorry. That was my favorite character. Legacy of the Force to this day is my favorite novel series, canon, expanded universe, or otherwise. But man, if you tell people that you love canon, apparently you hate the expanded universe and you don't know nothing about it. But
I
promise
love
you,
Legacy of the Force.
dude, I love Legacy. I love the expanded universe. And for any fan out there that has ever tried to call me out saying I don't know anything because I like the quote unquote Disney stuff, I promise you I could outschool you on some expanded universe stuff. I promise you I could. But I love the expanded universe. And like to be honest with you, like I thought the expanded universe fans were going to be the ones that love what Disney is doing the most. Bro, like on my page before there was anything Disney with Star Wars, I argued tooth and nail with people about how the expanded universe was not real Star Wars. Like literally, I can go back in my Facebook memories. They're there. Matter of fact, some of them are still fans of the page now, talking shit about Disney canon, talking about how the expanded universe is the holy grail. And I've called them out saying, like, bro, like 14 years ago, you were talking shit. And, you know what I mean? Like you were talking shit about the expanded universe, telling me how like I didn't like real Star Wars, that if it wasn't in the movies, it didn't count.
Yeah.
But now, all of a sudden, the expanded universe is the real Star Wars. Matter of fact, now 10 years ago, whenever you're saying it didn't count, now you're saying, oh, this is George Lucas's Star Wars. It's like really, because back then you were telling me how, man, George Lucas didn't like that at all. He didn't consider none of that part of his universe. Now that's all you got to say. And so it's changed. Like how some of the people that hate on me the most, like on that page, and I'm not saying they're hating on me. I don't even want to make it about me. How they hate on the new Star Wars. Literally, you've been following this page for over like 13 years, and you were a fan of it whenever it was the expanded universe, and you loved how like this page was so full with knowledge. But now all of a sudden, You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about the expanded universe. I never liked Star Wars. I only like Disney stuff, and I'm a shill. I just find it weird. I just find that weird.
Because you're raking in all that shill money. Man, I wish I
Hey,
was a shill. I wish
dude.
Disney was
Yeah, no,
sending me
for real though.
checks.
I wish I was. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, hell yeah, I wish I was a shill. Unfortunately, like, I'm dealing with y'all MFers for free. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Like, dang, I wish I
uh,
was raking in something, but nah.
on
Right.
that note, we've actually, if you can believe it, have run out of time. Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, the Star Wars Guru, Twitter, the Star Wars Guru. You can find me on Instagram, under I am called Ren, but they're I forgot what the little
The underscores?
yeah, the underscores between it, but you can find me. You're really trying to look. And then my website, the Star Wars Guru .com. And those are the places that you can find me.
It's been so much fun talking to you. Really quickly, for me, you can find me on across social media at Swankmotron or at swankmotron.com. You can find Full of Sith across social media at Full of Sith. We just opened a brand new Blue Sky account at Full of Sith. You can go to fullofsith.com and listen to the entire back catalog of episodes going back to 2013, if you can believe it, with over 600 releases. And send us an email at holocron@fullofsith.com. We'll answer your email. And, do that regularly. Be sure to rate and review the show wherever it is you listen to it. It's been so much fun having you, Stephen. We need to do this again. This has been such a
Definitely.
great chat just to cut loose and talk about Star Wars with very few guardrails.
Definitely, man. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Um, so for the Star Wars guru, Stephen Tillman, for Holly Fry, who couldn't be here today, for super producer Mike Pilot, who's going to have to add some R2D2 beats for this episode, I'm Bryan Young, and the Force will be with you always.
Sir, if you'll not be meeting me, I'll close down for a while.